Hey everyone, it's 10 types, and Mega Evolution is right around the corner. And when I say right around the corner, I mean it's probably out by the time you're watching this video. At the time of recording it, it's not. By the time of posting it, it's also not. But like it'll be out in an hour on Pokemon TCG Live by the time of posting it. So yeah, it's here, and it's a really cool set. Obviously, introducing the Mega Pokemon and also having a stacked set of trainers. It's like kind of crazy the trainers in this set. There's like three or four that are very good, but there's also some really interesting cards that are, I think, kind of underrated here. They haven't been talked about that much. That I wanted to talk about today, and I will say they are all single prize Pokemon. If you think there are other cards that are underrated that are like megas or trainers or any Pokemon that I don't talk about in this video, leave them down below in the comment section. And also, of course, I'm always interested in seeing your thoughts down below on these cards. But let's just hop right into it here with the first card, which is Cinderace. Cinderace is probably the card that I'm most excited for from this set. Not because it's the best, because it's not the best. It is Liz's determination, right? But Cinderace here is a really cool card with the ability Explosiveness. If this Pokemon is in your hand when you're setting up for play, you may put it face down as your active Pokemon. This it does have Free Retreat as well, which is, I guess, pretty meaningful for starting it. That's really nice there. But it does open up some fun shenanigans with controlling mulligans and stuff. I'm going to make a video on that at some point, probably very soon. I want to make a Tatsugiri deck with that. So if anyone has some ideas for Tatsugiri EX, also leave those down below in the comments, because I don't know what I want to do with it. I might just do like a pretty generic Hydreigon deck, but anyways, Cinderace here can allow you to do some wacky stuff with that, but it's not super good. It's pretty bad. But then you do have this attack here as well, Flare Turbo for 1 colorless, doing 50. Search your deck for up to 3 basic energy cards and attach them to your bench Pokemon in any way you like. Then you shuffle your deck. And also this is a stage 2, but again you can start it as your active here, and it has 160 HP. So this card is a really interesting card because you can start it, and if you're playing a deck without too many basics, then and you put 4 Cinderace in, then you can start it a decent chunk of the time, not like all the time, but some of the time, a meaningful amount of the time. And when you start it, it's really good because it functions as a basic Pokemon in that situation, and it's absurd as a basic Pokemon, right? This is like really good. It's like an absurdly good Joltik. It's a little weaker, I guess, in terms of searching for energy. I mean, it gets one less, but it also gets more variety, and it's also color, so you can put in anything. And then on top of that, it does 50, which is cool. You'd rather do 70, but 50, 50 damage is nice on top of a setup attack. That's like a good setup attack. Most setup attacks aren't, but this one is good. And then your ability, obviously, you can start it. And you can start it as a 160 HP Pokemon that's a single prize with free retreat. So its stats are amazing here. I wouldn't play it as a stage 2, like by evolving it. It's not horrendous as a stage 2. The damage isn't really what you're looking for, and you're not really looking for setup attacks in stage 2s. But again, its stats are like already there. They could definitely be worse. But again, if you play it as like a type of basic, then it's amazing. You could just toss this as a 4 of in a deck, and get value from it, like really good value when you happen to hit it. When you don't hit it, you don't get any value. So I don't think it's an amazing card. I haven't seen it played really at all, though. I don't know what the deck is that you'd want to play it in. Look at the decks in standard here. A lot of the decks don't really need that much energy, though like they could use it, but also a lot of them play a lot of basics. They don't have a ton of space, so I'm not exactly sure what it would go in. I do like it a bunch, though, maybe with some of the new megas like Mega Manectric here. I don't hate it with maybe what are the other megas? You got it with Mega. I don't know. I'm not sure. I think you want something that's like a stage 1, not too committal, but also with some amount of bulk. So maybe Mega Manectric. Ultimately, it's a really cool card, and I think is good because we've seen other cards similar to it as well in the past. If we look at, I need to just where is regular illness? We saw Talonflame, which was a while ago, with a pretty much the same ability, and it was a good card here. Oh, there wasn't as much tournament data, but it was a good card. And then also Luxray, with the same ability, same name. This card was weaker, but it saw some play, and I'd say its attack was definitely worse. Searching for 2 trainers, as opposed to accelerating the energy. Accelerating energy is really good. Trainers, getting those into your hand is good. I'm not going to deny that. But you can get hit by disruption, and you will pretty commonly be hit by disruption. Then on top of that, it doesn't set you up and lead to the unintended explosive plays here from Luxray. So I really do like Cinderace as a card. Not as an amazing card, but a card that I think will actually see some competitive play and is a super fun casual card as well. But I do like it competitively a little bit, not as a crazy card, but as a decent card. Then we have the next card here. This one is not that strong, I'm not gonna lie, but I do think it's all right and a little underrated here. And it's a baby Pokemon, I believe the only baby Pokemon in the set, if I'm not mistaken, and it's Tyrogue here. It's a basic fighting Pokemon, of course, has a free attack and free retreat. Free retreat means it can be used as a pivot, which is cool. Free attack, and it does 10, and then flip coin to get tails, it does 30 more for each heads. So on average, I believe it's hitting 40 damage. Someone correct me if I'm wrong on that. I do say on average, but there's some like kind of weird stuff going on with that. So, I just look at it as 10. 10's bad, right? 10 damage is not a lot of damage. We see babies with better attacks than this. However, we do see, no, where is it? In Mega Brave, there's a ton of fighting support, notably Premium Power Pro, which increases the damage you do with your fighting Pokemon by 30. So you can just do Tyrogue turn 1 for pretty big damage. And on top of that, you can also pair it with the other fighting support like Fighting Gong to search out your Tyrogue, and you can just use it as a nice little like pivot and I guess utility piece. It's not amazing here, but I think it's okay. It's a card I've heard no talk about at all. I haven't seen most people are just talking about the trainers and the megas, right? But I haven't heard like any talk about this card really at all, and I think it's okay. I don't think it's amazing. I think it's decently underrated because I think it's okay. I don't really expect it to see competitive play, but as a one of tech within fighting decks, I don't hate it. And fighting is going to be really good. I've talked about this a lot. And we have another fighting card here as well, which is Garganacl. Garganacl's a different card here. A very much more committal. It's a stage 2 here. Its stats are kind of meh. Specifically, you're looking at the 4 retreat cost, which isn't good. But you have this ability here, Assault of Strength. This is attacks used by your fighting Pokemon do 30 more damage to your opponent's active. This ability is okay. It's obviously the reason you'd play this card, and there are some other reasons though as well, and that's because there's some other good Garganacls. So specifically, there's a Garganacl from what set is this from? Paradox Rift, I guess. Yeah, Paradox Rift. It says you can use this ability once each turn. You attach a basic fighting from your discard to one of your Pokemon, then heal 30 from it. So it's like a electric Pokemon or like electric type Pokemon, or like Alamar before it, or like Flappy or something, where you're accelerating from the discard. It can accelerate to anything, but it is a stage 2, not a stage 1, so that's not great. But you do heal, so there's some pretty cool stuff with it as well. There's also another Garganacl that heals, and so overall, I like the evolution line as a decent fighting support piece. It's a little clunky, but it's not terrible. I do like it, and as I said, fighting's getting a lot better with all the other support, so I think Garganacl is a card worth considering. And if you are looking for that energy acceleration, you can put in the other Garganacl, and then you can play this Garganacl as well for some extra damage, which is always going to be nice. It's just like a one of. So you could play like a 1-2 split of Garganax or something like that. I do like that quite a bit. And yeah, I don't think this card is crazy, but I do like it. I'd say it's the most bland of the 5 cards I'm talking about today here, but it has some interesting aspects with the other cards within its evolution line, and I do think it is all right. I don't know if it's actually that underrated. I've heard some talk about it, but it's definitely a little interesting. Next, we have the card Gumshoos, which is also super interesting. This card I've talked about a bit on the channel because of its ability here, Evidence Collection. Once during a turn, you can switch a card in your hand with the top card of your deck. This is definitely interesting, allowing you to do a bunch of different things. If you're not familiar with this type of effect, we saw it on the Oranguru from the Sword and Shield base set here. Where is it? And this card was very good. It's the same ability, but it is on a basic, so it is a lot better here. But it's play in a ton of different decks for a lot of utility. Gumshoos is a lot worse than Oranguru, but Oranguru is really, really solid. So if Gumshoos is like 10% as good as it, or like sees 10% as much play, then it's still really good. Even if it's 1%, it's still all right. Is it that good? I don't know. I don't know if anyone's going to play it, but what the ability does is it allows you to put something on top of your deck to combo with certain tools like Slow King, which is where it's seen play in Japan so far, which is useful. But then it also allows you to save cards for next turn. If your opponent Ionos you, normally you can't really do anything about it. There's Cypher Magnetics Code Breaking, but that doesn't even work with the cards in your hand. Gumshoos, though, is a card that allows you to save stuff for the next turn, unless your opponent hits you with a Judge. But it definitely is a pretty cool card here. And then on top of that, allows you to see an extra card because the card on top of your deck goes into your hand. Obviously, if you use a bunch of Gumshoos, you're not seeing any extra cards, right? You're just like sending cards back and forth from your hand and the top of your deck, which doesn't get you anywhere. But you can just use one of this as a like an extra draw every turn, which is pretty nice. It's not crazy. And draw one on a stage one isn't super good. But it has a ton of utility in a ton of different situations, and it's really cool here. I don't know if it's quite enough value, but I do like it. As a 1/1 line in some decks, it could be fun, kind of like Toadstool. Toadstool is obviously pretty different as like a countery card. Um, it is very good against certain decks and in certain situations. Gumshoos is a more well-rounded and tamer and worse card, right? But Gumshoos I do like here. I think it's a little underrated. It's pretty fun, and really versatile. The last card we have here is a pretty interesting one, which is Grumpig with the ability Energy Step. When you play this ability, or you can use this ability when you play this Pokemon to, evolve one of your Pokemon, you look at the top 4 cards of your deck and attach any number of basic energy you find there to your Pokemon in any way you like. Then you shuffle the other cards back into your deck. And this is good because it allows you to accelerate energy of any type to any Pokemon. That's pretty cool. The issue is it's inconsistent. You compare it with like the Gumshoos we just talked about or other things. But the cool thing about it is because there was a Trumbeak, which was not a super good card, but it's the same idea, but it is just 3. And the cool thing about Grumpig, the one cool thing is you can, you see 4, it can hit stuff. And then the other cool thing is with Mega Symphonia, there's also the item card, Suspicious Watch or Clock or whatever, which says choose one of your evolved Psychic Pokemon, which should be Grumpig here, devolve it by returning it to your hand, and then you can play it again later, not that turn. But it does allow you to evolve again and get more energies onto your board. You can play a good chunk of Grumpigs, pair it with, the things you'd pair Cinderace with, these like relatively simple, straightforward, um, like 2-prize, 3-prize Pokemon. Maybe something like Iron Thorns. That's better than with Cinderace. Cinderace is attacking, so it's going to be the active. Grumpig could sit on the bench. Obviously, Iron Thorns is kind of looking to just have Iron Thorns in play. It's not a great idea, but it's this idea of a mostly like a quad deck, right? Just for one card, but then you just slot in Grumpigs as well. And I think the idea also applies with Cinderace. Again, not sure exactly what that would look like. I'm still thinking about it, but I do think there was some cool stuff here. I don't think Grumpig is a crazy card, but it's kind of cool if you just want a little bit of extra energy. The deck kind of like what Hydraple's kind of trying to do with just getting a bunch of energy onto your board, where any additional energy is going to have value, and exactly how much you hit doesn't like usually make or break you. You just want as much as you can, and any extras is cool. Obviously, you don't actually really want this in Hydrapple because you just probably want to get the energies with some items and then like play them with your abilities. But regardless, Grumpig, it is a cool card where I could see it being used, especially in a more casual deck. Not exactly sure what that would look like. Is it something kind of like Hydrapple EX, but not that, but regardless, Grumpig, definitely a pretty fun card here. A Suspicious Clock, definitely a really cool card as well. One that I don't know if it has a good use case yet, but these cards are really cool. As I said, Mega Evolution is a crazy set, super hyped for it, but I hope you are too. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the rest of my content on Mega Evolution because I'm going to be playing it and doing a lot of cool stuff. But I hope you enjoyed, and as Osmond said, see you in the next video.